Good morning, everyone. It's Penelope, and today I did not go penny shopping. I did not go woohoo shopping, but I pulled things out of my cabinet, my refrigerator, and and other places just to show you what to have on hand when you decide to start budget shopping. You don't have to stock up right away, but build your pantry, build your cupboards, build your spice racks, build your refrigerator with the things that you know that are there, so that way when you do bring home stuff to cook, you can make a really nice meal. Okay, so I'm going to start with the refrigerator first. Now, the one thing that I like to keep on hand is celery. Celery is extremely versatile. Not only is it good for the trifecta of cooking, which is onion, carrot, and celery, for stews, soups, whatever you're making, celery, carrots, and onions are the great start of a base with those things. As well as if you make homemade dressing, which I will be making tomorrow, as well as you can just take them and put peanut butter on them and then make a great snack. Celery is great and it's cheap. And it lasts quite a while in your refrigerator. So I always recommend having celery. I always recommend having carrots. Now here's the thing, I normally do not buy baby carrots, but these were on sale and I had a digital coupon. Normally I buy the big bag of carrots. They're rustic, they're unpeeled, they're uncut, and they're extremely much more cheaper in most cases than baby carrots. So these two vegetables are always in my refrigerator, always. And then we'll go on with some of the other shelf staple things. I always keep eggs. Eggs are something you always want to keep in your refrigerator. Margarine or butter. This is Country Crock. I gave $1.19 for it. I did just buy another bundle for $1.49 of the Country Crock. So watch your sales, watch your coupons. I keep butter in the freezer. I will pull a stick out every now and again, put it in the refrigerator, just in case I know that I'm going to be making something that requires a butter over margarine. And I really normally don't do that very often. I can keep butter forever because I just really don't use it that often. So I'm going to stick this over here. Get this out of the way. And we're going to continue. We're going to go ahead and go on to condiments. Now, there are condiments that I keep in my refrigerator and some that I keep in my cabinet. Now, I keep this Greek Ken's dressing for pasta salad. It makes the most amazing Mediterranean pasta salad. I can grab it out of the cabinet, and normally with the coupons and the deals, I get it for 49 cents, sometimes free. It depends on what the coupon reads and what the sale is. So I always keep the Greek vinaigrette. But if you are a family of ranch dressings or Italian dressings, French or whatever, when you find those on sale, stock up on them so that way you always have them. But salad dressing is something that I have a lot of in my home. Right now I have a buttermilk ranch in the refrigerator because I made hot wings or hot legs one night, and they just sounded really good to have that on the side with some salad. So we did open a buttermilk ranch. I'm more of the Italian person, he's more of the ranch person. So we have two different types. Occasionally I like Russian or French dressing as well. So I always keep dressing on hand. Now this little guy is empty. This is my soy sauce. I do have a larger container of it that needs to be filled because my husband has emptied it without filling it. I always keep soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce. I keep mustard. I keep ketchup. And I keep mayonnaise. This is avocado mayonnaise. It's a Kraft avocado mayonnaise. I got it like super, super cheap. So that's what we have. Those are my condiments. Oh, we can't forget this. Parmesan cheese. Parmesan cheese is always nice to have because there are some of those dishes that you want a little more bite to. Now my husband eats it on ravioli. He eats it on spaghetti, lasagna. And if you do make lasagnas, you're going to want this. So that is my refrigerator. That's my refrigerator condiments for the most part. There are other condiments in there that I've picked up and stuff, but I'm just talking about the basics. What do you want to keep on hand if you're going to start cooking by a menu plan? something that I have is Tabasco sauce. I like Tabasco sauce. I also keep red hot sauce and other cheaper hot sauces because I like hot sauce. Now the Tabasco is more of a seasoning hot sauce than my other hot sauces. I use it a lot. Okay, so those are my condiments that I always have. Okay, now we're going to go with the things that I always keep on hand, hanging on my hooks back there: onions and potatoes. Don't ever be afraid to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to buy a big bag of potatoes and keep them. They keep very well. Onions keep pretty good, and they're going to go through a month, maybe 2 months, depending on how often you use them. So I always recommend keeping onions and fresh potatoes on hand because you never know. But I also recommend keeping instant potatoes on hand. Instant potatoes come in handy. I've recently gotten some little packs of instant potatoes, not only as a prepper to put in my preps, but also because they're really nice for 2 people. Or if I decide to do a shepherd's pie, I can just mix that up and put it over top of my meat blend. So instant potatoes I always recommend having as well. That's just something I keep on hand as a staple because you never know. I might go into my potato bag and maybe it just doesn't look right, or I just don't have the time to peel and cut potatoes. A lot of people say, well, you know, that's such a waste of money as instant potatoes. Not if you use them. And not only that, but if you do fry like country fried steaks or fried chicken, you can add this to your dry ingredients and it will make it so much better. Just saying, I don't fry food anymore, but when I used to fry food, I would add this to my chicken dry and my country fried steak dry, as well as my wild mushrooms. I'm a morel hunter, and when I do hunt morels, I also use the instant potatoes with my blend of cracker meal and flour and a little cornmeal. So instant potatoes, I always keep those on hand. Okay, now the spices that I recommend are spices that you like. Now my husband is a spiceaholic. I mean, he wants everything super, super flavored. I actually like tasting my food a little bit. Now, I do keep season packs. And the reason I keep them is because they come in really, really handy. Now, I believe these reduced packs I ended up getting for free. These are burritos. I have chili season packs. And when I get them on sale, I grab them. Something else I grab, just in case I find that great avocado deal, I always keep a guacamole pack or 2. They're 49 cents at Kroger, and I keep them in the cabinet because if I find that great deal for avocados, I snatch them up because I already know that I have this on hand, or I just go grab another one if I don't. Something I don't use but I have in here is turkey flavored gravy. I don't know why that's in here, but we have it. It's another guacamole and taco seasonings. Pardon me. My allergies are acting up again today. My cat was laying on me. Okay, so season packs. If you find them on sale, throw them in your cabinet, put them in a little organizing bin, and that's something you can have on hand whenever, you know, you just decide, hey, I got this pound of ground beef, maybe I'll make some chili or some tacos, and you already got a season on hand. That's just a few of mine. Something else I keep are bouillon cubes or bouillon powder. My husband absolutely loves bouillon. He will make a cup of bouillon and just eat it, drink it, whatever. So I do keep bouillon on hand. That is on my list to get for my staples. And I do like the Knorr, and I also like some of the store brands. I do like to use the powdered form where you can just spoon it in, but I also keep cubes because that's for him. He can make his cup of bouillon. Okay, now when you're doing your spices, you know, it depends on what your flavors are. Okay, spices are very personal. Now, always recommend black pepper, your salt, and I buy the big salts, and so then I always fill my shakers. Garlic, seasoned salt. I'm trying to think of what there's another Tabasco down in here. Now, I do have some specialty seasonings that I got on sale. I got some Weber's seasonings. This is the Kickin' Chicken. It's one of my favorites. However, I did find that the Kroger Poultry is just as good. Paprika, that's another one I use a lot of. Have oregano, red pepper flakes. There are chives. I mean, I just keep them. Oregano is one of the big things that we use as well. Rosemary for my chicken dishes. You know, I mean, I just have a lot of stuff. And I keep a lot of different seasonings. Now here are some more packs. Now this is a Weber's white wine herb marinade. Now I keep this back here because you never know when I'm going to need that. I do have an open seasoning pack of taco seasoning because I don't use the whole pack. I just don't. I just use a little bit because I do like the flavor of my food. So that one is the open one. These are saffron packets, if you like saffron. I keep those for if I'm going to do a saffron rice dish, and I got those fairly cheap, so I keep those back in here as well. And then I have this one here. This is the Grill Mates Mojito Lime. I got this on really, really cheap, and I use just a little bit of it in, for example, my tacos or my fajitas. I don't use a whole lot of it because it is very strong. And that's something too, is if you have children and they don't like a lot of seasonings and it's overpowering for them, just use a little bit of a packet, roll it up, put it back in your spice bin. Spice is very important. My spices are pepper, salt, seasoned salt, garlic, and paprika. Those are probably my five spices that I make sure I keep on hand at all times. I do have turmerics. I have all kinds of different things, but those are my 5 that I make sure that I have a lot on hand. Okay, so always just go through and find the spices that you use first. Always keep stock of the ones you use first. Now up in my cabinet, I also have like onion powder. That's a good one to have on hand because if you have kids that don't like onions in their food, but you want to have that flavor of onions in your food, get onion powder. They won't be any wiser and you'll have that flavor, or even the minced onions because they're so ground. But make and build your own spice collection. Just build it, maybe one spice at a time. But always have salt and pepper because that's really important, and I think garlic is very important. So anyway, spices, those you want to build in your cabinet as well. Now, the other thing that I brought out was what is in... I'm having an attack here. Come on. Sorry. What I did was I pulled out of my cabinet the things that I keep on hand that I know that I can cook with whenever, okay? Obviously, you want to keep oil. I mean, I don't fry a lot of food, but every now and again, I'll need a couple tablespoons of oil just to make sure something's not going to stick, okay? Not only that, but your cake mixes, your brownie mixes, all of those mixes require oil. So these were the Crisco's that I got on sale in December of last year for 99 cents. And as you can see, I haven't used a whole lot of it. I just don't use oil all that much. Pardon me again. Something I keep on hand, and the only reason I have this on hand is because it's 49 cents. I will not spend more than 50 cents for a jar of spaghetti sauce or Alfredo sauce. I make sure that the sales and the coupons match, or I will make my own. So I always keep spaghetti sauce. I don't bother buying pizza sauce because number one, when I go to make my homemade pizzas, I use spaghetti sauce. It works just as well. So I can have that open in my refrigerator, and then the next time I make spaghetti, I just dump it in there. I've used a couple tablespoons out of it for my pizza, my homemade pizza, and then I use it for my spaghetti. So, you know, double uses for one jar is fantastic. Okay, something else. Now, I showed you the bouillon. I do keep broths around. These were on sale for 49 cents this past week and still for today. And I do buy canned broth, but I also make my own. So that's something too, is if you decide to start cooking, for example, if you were to buy a roasted chicken at the store, You take off the meat, put that in a pot, cook it down, and keep that broth, and you've got your own chicken broth. Same thing with meat bones. If you have a bunch of steaks, or even you go and you buy some of the just bone with marrow in them, you can make your own broth that way as well. I do make my own broth, but I love to have this on hand because it comes in so much handier. It's handy. Something else I keep on hand are cream soups. Now this happens to be the cream of chicken and the cream of mushroom that's been on sale for 49 cents. And with the coupons I was getting for 39 cents. I keep those for casseroles and things like that. Cream of chicken soup is great to have in like a broccoli chicken rice casserole. And then of course the cream of mushroom soup, you can use it in almost any kind of casserole you want. Now I think I might use some of this in my stuffing casserole that I will be making tomorrow out of my old bread in the refrigerator. So I'm kind of excited about that. Other things that I keep on hand, dried pastas. It doesn't matter what shape, but if you do have spaghetti quite a bit with your kids, obviously spaghetti pasta is something that you would want to keep on hand. It lasts a very long time. If you are not excited about keeping them in cardboard, which I'm really not, you can always put them in freezer bags and then whatever you do with them. These are shells. Now, I got these super cheap. I got these for 49 cents. I do not spend more than 50 cents for pasta shells either. So, pasta and spaghetti or Alfredo sauce, I do not spend more than 49 cents or 50 cents for them. I just don't. Because it lasts such a long time and I've got such a stockpile of getting it for 50 cents that to me that's just a waste of money. Okay. Now, other things I keep on hand, definitely diced tomatoes. I keep lots of diced tomatoes on hand because they come in handy. You're making tacos, you're making burritos, you're going to make your spaghetti sauce a little better. So you add your onions, your mushrooms, your peppers, a can of tomatoes, and you have made that that spaghetti sauce your own. Diced tomatoes, I have to have them. I always keep canned peas. And I'm going to tell you, with canned peas, like if I make Hamburger Helper or something similar to Hamburger Helper, I always throw a can of peas in there. If I'm making, I don't know, chicken and dumplings and I have the mixed vegetables, I always add an extra can of peas. I don't know why, but peas are one of those things that I can add to it. Now I keep frozen peas on hand if I do layered salads and things like that. But for a can of peas, throw it into a Hamburger Helper and you've got a meal. Now, if your kids don't like peas, do green beans, do carrots, or whatever. You could even do a can of mixed vegetables and make it mixy. Okay, something else that I keep on hand is long grain rice. Long grain rice. I do have rice pouches that I got really, really cheap. But look at this. I found this one on the Woohoo for 39 cents. And this is a long grain brown rice. White long grain rice will last a very, very, very long time, as long as it cannot get in with bugs and so on and so forth. So as a prepper, I have lots of long grain white rice in my long-term storage. Very important for preppers to have that. And it's very important to learn how to make rice, because if you're going to buy just those rice dishes, you're going to spend $1 a piece for them. And for a family, that's not a whole lot. So if you have a bag of rice, I mean, it will tell you the ratio. You know, I mean, it's pretty cool. Just learn how to make it. Buy 2 bags. Make the first bag a practice bag. Buy a smaller bag and then buy a larger bag. I would just recommend keeping rice. I have my rice. I keep it in one of these next to the stove, and that's what I use. Okay, last but not least, my favorite thing to have on hand in my cabinets is an all-purpose baking mix. Now, this is Bisquick, and Bisquick is extremely expensive, but I got this one for $2.29 on a Woohoo. Now, I am not adverse to using a store brand or a generic brand. This is so versatile. You can make your pancakes. You can make biscuits. You can make dumplings. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with this, and you don't need to have the baking powder, baking soda, and the flour. So I keep this on hand for those quick nights. Those quick nights, or if I'm like making a chicken and dumpling and I want to put my dumplings on top, I just mix this up and throw those on top, and I have chicken and dumplings. When I make my biscuits and gravy, sometimes I just want to make a simple drop biscuit for my gravy. It's for gravy. I don't like canned biscuits. They're not my favorite. I don't like them. So I make a simple drop biscuit with these, and I make my sausage gravy, and we have biscuits and gravy. So those are just a few of the things that I recommend that you have stocked up in your cabinets, in your refrigerators, or in your shelf. So that way when you do a budget shop, you always have those things to make them better. There's so many things that you could have that you just have to have your favorites. But that's all I have. You all have a great day. Bye.